Hi, my name's Amy Bernstein with Bernstein Realty. Welcome back to our podcast. I have the pleasure today of talking to Suzie Davis with Bernstein Realty, and she is our property manager. So, property management is really a specialized field in the real estate industry, and Suzie has been with Bernstein Realty for 15 plus years and has been in the property management industry for over 25 years. So she has a world of knowledge of property management, and we are very lucky as a company to have Suzie as our property manager. So thank you, Suzie, I always say if we could clone you, our life would be perfect. How many times have you heard me say that? Several.
Not sure about that. Thank you anyway.
So let's talk a little bit about what a property manager does. What are the benefits of bringing in a property manager when somebody owns a property, and who is our client?
Our client is the owner or the landlord. And so our job, our responsibility is to preserve their asset. We want to keep it the quality, we want to keep the value, and we do that by kind of managing the day-to-day operations we handle. Screening tenants, finding tenants, maintenance and repairs, collecting rent, if there are any legal issues, anything like that. And it takes it away. We want the tenants to be happy, but at the same time, we want to make sure that they're taking care of the property.
And, fortunately for the landlord, and unfortunately sometimes for us, we are pretty much a 24/7 on-call service. So tell us, let's use the last Hurricane Beryl as an example, which was, I knew when Hurricane Beryl came that it was devastating, and one of the first thoughts that entered my mind is Suzie's going to have a very, very busy next 30 days. So tell us how that happened, as far as what sort of things did you get called about, and what sort of things did you have to do to preserve properties during Beryl?
Well, if you recall, we had two back-to-back disasters. We had the derecho and then we had Beryl. And so we were dealing with the first one when along came Beryl. So the biggest concerns and biggest issues that we dealt with were we had trees that came down on houses, on cars, blocking properties. So we had to deal with that. And then we had a power outage. So it's hard to get hold of people when you have no Wi-Fi and very little communication. So we were out in the cars, we were driving around. Fortunately, we have a good relationship with vendors and contractors. So we were able to get people out there pretty quickly to cut down trees. It was a long process, but we were able to get it done. We had to get tarps on roofs because there was continuous rain, so we wanted to minimize the damage. Some of our owners we were able to get hold of quickly, some of them were out of town. So trying to keep everybody in the loop, make sure the tenants were safe, make sure we were preserving the property. It was a challenge, and lots of downed fences. You name it, we had it.
You had it.
And so I think the biggest challenge was just making sure our contractors were getting out there and we were addressing these issues.
And so, we have different owners, right? And some owners want to know every single thing that happens on their property, and some say, you know what, we know you're handling it, you've been our property manager for years and years and we trust you. And some say, we want you're authorized to make a certain dollar amount of a repair up to a certain price, and after that we want to be notified. So how does that work as far as limits? I mean, do you get bids for a repair, or how does that work when a tenant calls you and says they need a repair?
We could do it a lot of different ways. We've worked with some of the vendors, and we've worked with a lot of vendors, so we know pretty much, a standard plumbing call is going to cost X amount of money. We know that coming in and doing replacing computer boards or garage door surface is going to cost a certain amount of money. So we have a pretty good idea what a good cost is. If it's starting to get expensive, of course we get bids, and we try to do that because I think that's the fair thing to do, and it's the right thing to do.
Right, just good business.
Yeah. So, for instance, we had these trees come down during the hurricane, and I was calling people and saying, hey, we need to get these trees off. We had one tree that they were going to charge $8,000 to remove the tree.
Oh my God.
Remove the tree.
To take it down and remove it?
Well, it was on top of a garage, and it was the neighbor's tree that fell on our client's property.
Gotcha.
$8,000 for an old oak tree, which I thought was ridiculous.
Yes.
Absolutely ridiculous. But the neighbor had called somebody, gotten somebody out. So I called the owner and told him what was going on. And I said, what do you want me to do? I said, I'm sure I can get somebody out here cheaper, but it's not going to be immediately. And he said, let's do it, and then we'll let the insurance company deal with it.
Got it.
So kind of took the responsibility off of us, but we were communicating with the owner. And so he said, we just need to get it done. So that's
And
what
I'm
we did.
sure the tenant really appreciated it.
Yes.
So I know that you have great relationships with the tenants, and that helps manage the property a little bit easier too. So sometimes when an owner has a property and they want to lease the property, that is a separate service in addition to property management. So we do have properties that we do lease, and the owner wants to manage the property themselves, which is totally fine. But the leasing of the property is one service and one service fee that we use. And then if the owner wants to be hands-off and really wants to have a property management company, that's when we step in and do the property management as well. So we as a real estate company do leasing. And those owners, many of them want to manage the property themselves. And then certainly we have those that want the full service, and they want the leasing, and then they want to go further and do the property management. When somebody hires us to do the property management, tell us a little bit about the accounting and how that works, and what the responsibilities of the homeowner is in your responsibilities.
Well, we do have a property management software program that we use. It's called AppFolio, and which is really nice. It has a portal that the owners can sign up for, as well as the tenants. Tenants can log into that portal. They can give us any kind of repair requests. They can pay their rent through the portal. Then when we go to give the owner their disbursement each month, we have their bank information, and we can give it through the portal. So it's a real simple and easy process. And then we can track, we keep the leases, we keep work orders. Everything is in this one AppFolio platform that everybody has access to, which makes it really easy. And it's a good accounting for us, because then we can go and say, okay, this has been taken care of, this has been taken care of. And then we can go back and say, hey, we had this same problem a year ago. This should be under warranty. So
you can track everything for the homeowner.
We can track everything, and it's very streamlined.
I actually wrote a lease today for a friend of mine, and one of the questions she asked is, what happens if the homeowner goes out of town or goes out of the country? What do I do? So, I think that tenants really like when a property is professionally managed, because if you go out of town, you have an assistant that's your backup, and the property is always leased. There's always a phone number they can call and get somebody. So I certainly see the benefit to the tenant as well when you have property management. I think one of the things, what do you think that sets Bernstein Realty apart? Of course, we don't know what all property management companies do, but what do you think sets Bernstein Realty apart from other property managers?
Well, number one, I think we're small. We're not real small, but we're not huge. So we were able to do very much hands-on. And so the tenants feel comfortable calling us. We feel comfortable calling the tenants. We do inspections. The tenants know that they're going to get good service, and the owners know that they're going to get good service. And we can turn around pretty quickly on anything. So it's not like you have an air conditioning that's out and you have to wait a month to get it fixed.
Right. So we have a property management fee, and that fee is pretty much all inclusive unless it's a major repair that we have to pretty much act as a contractor for. So tell us a little bit about that, how that works.
Well, the fee is monthly, and it's usually 10% of the monthly rental. We do have some caps, so when it gets up above $3,000 a month for rental, we cap it at $300, and then if it goes above, say, $5,000 a month, we cap it at $500.
Got it.
If you have multi-properties, we'll offer a discount of 8% per month.
And so that is monthly. Those fees are monthly.
Those are monthly fees. We don't upcharge. So let's say somebody comes out, we get a plumber out there, they charge us $125. That's the charge. We're not charging, any kind of a fee to on that. You
Got
know,
it.
if we have to do a what I call act as a general contractor for major repairs, then we would charge a 10% management fee. But we always contact the owner and say, hey, this is what it's going to cost. This is an extra cost, so that they're not surprised. Like, oh my gosh.
And so we started that when, after one hurricane, I think that was Harvey, when we found ourselves in the contracting business.
Right.
We had to do something. We couldn't just, manage the work and just pass on the fee, pass on the charge for the repair 100%. So we put a price tag on that of anything over
$3,500.
Anything over $3,500, we do charge a 10% additional fee on top of that, just because it tends to be a bigger repair that really needs a lot of our management.
Yeah,
on
we're
it.
out
So,
there, we're taking pictures, we're meeting with the contractors, we're,
doing all that.
kind of really acting as a general contractor.
Right. And also, as far as keeping all the records, we're able to give the homeowner at the end of the year all the records of all the repairs. So if it is actually a business to them, a rental property business, then they can take that total list of repairs and send it to their CPA and
Right.
things like that.
Right.
So it's just a one-stop, everything's all under one roof, which I think is really nice. And I do think that properties that are managed, I think the tenants really know that they need to pay on time. It's a business to us, and where we do charge those fees and late fees, and they do pay on time, and if they write a bounce check. And I know, Suzie, that one of your favorite things is to go to court. So if by chance we get a tenant that doesn't pay, you are that landlord's representative and go to eviction
Right.
court as well, right?
We've been a couple of times, unfortunately. So far, knock on wood, we have,
Not been many.
no. And we've been successful. I mean, if you don't pay your rent, you don't pay your rent.
Yes.
There's usually not a lot of excuses for that.
Agreed.
So we do that, and a lot of times the tenants, once they get that notice that they're going to eviction court, they pay their rent. But we have gone to court before, and we have fought for them.
And I think, in closing, I think that the other thing that I think is really valuable for a property manager is when the tenant does move, you are the one that goes in, right, and takes photos of everything and determines how much of that deposit needs to be deducted in order to give back the deposit, because you have to give the deposit back in 30 days
Right.
to the tenant legally with with an itemized list of repairs needed, right? And so that is something that the homeowner doesn't have to do, and I know they don't like doing that. And so you'll go in and do the itemization
Right.
and determine how much of that deposit needs to go back and make sure that the balance of what needs to go back goes back within 30 days.
And we've had some tenants that have fought it, taken the landlord to court. We've gone and represented them, and we have been successful. And this is the way it is. This is what you moved in with. This is what it looked like when you moved out. So we'll go that extra step.
Gotcha. Well, I know that I get compliments on you all the time, and I know that I don't hear any complaining out of the property management department as an owner calling and saying I didn't get my rent, or this repair wasn't right, or I really get nothing. That's why I say if I could clone you, my life would be perfect. So thank you very much for being you. Thank you for being what I think is absolutely one of the best property managers, if not the best property manager I've ever met. And I just feel very fortunate that you're on our team and that you take great care of our clients.
Well, thank you. I enjoy what I do, and we have a great team here. So
I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. And if you're interested in Bernstein Realty's property management department, you can contact Bernstein Realty at 713-932-1032. If you have any questions about our property management department, please do give us a call. Ask for Suzie. She'll take great care of you and answer all the questions, even come out and meet with you if you'd like. But that's something that she takes great pride in. So just remember, your home is
our expertise.
So thank you for tuning in.